In this video, we are going to talk about, is offering the asking price enough when purchasing a home? I'll explain this next, so you're definitely going to want to watch this one. My name is Tom Olsewski and I'm the team lead at Team Olsewski with Coldwell Banker. So you want to buy a home. You see the perfect property. It's been on the market a day or two, and the question comes up, is offering the asking price enough? This is something that both sellers and buyers should be considering right now, so let me take you through this. Before I answer the question, I want to share some data, because data always tells the story of what the right decision is, especially in these large real estate transactions, these huge financial decisions that people are making. So according to NAR, that's the National Association of Realtors, so far this year, the average listing had 3.8 offers submitted on it. So not quite 4, more than 3, and that's the National Association of Realtors. The national average for time on the market is 17 days. So those are some great national numbers. Let me tell you what's going on locally in the greater Temecula area market and in Riverside County. We're seeing 20 days for homes priced between $400,000 and $500,000, 37 days for homes priced between $650,000 and $800,000. In Temecula, the days on the market is 17, and again, that's right at the average. But a little bit of a different market condition, and when you see that the average home's getting more than 3 offers, that might give you some guidance on the question, is offering the asking price enough? Then what I want to share with you is the average list to sales price ratio through the month of September in Riverside County and in the Temecula market. Here's what we know in Riverside County. The average list price ratio means, and it means again how much the home sold for relative to the listing price, and that's 101.9%. So on average in Riverside County, offering the asking price would not be enough to get the home. In Temecula, they're seeing 101.7% of the asking price for what the home actually sells for. So again, in Temecula, offering the asking price is not going to get the home. I'm going to take this data one step further. Selma Hipp, the Deputy Chief Economist at CoreLogic, which is a huge real estate data company, and they track these things. They look at national trends, and 6 in 10 homes, according to her, are now selling above the asking price. So we've got all this data that shows locally and nationally, a lot of homes are selling above the asking price, which tells me offering the asking price might not be enough. So from a buyer perspective, you have to walk in with the mindset of, hey, this trend is not going away. There's still a lot of competition in the market with millennial buyers still out there driving the market, and we've talked about this in length in previous videos. So I've got to be ready to get aggressive if I want to get the home, and we know there's some other ways to do that, and I'm not going to go over those things right now. That's not the point. Currently, year to date through September, we're seeing that the asking price isn't getting it done the majority of the time. 60% of the time, you've got to go above the asking price. According to CoreLogic, and we're seeing locally here in Riverside County, you're looking at, again, 101.2% of the asking price as the average right now. So that tells us from the buyer perspective, you've got to be ready to make that jump and understand what homes are selling for and where you might need to go to get the property if that's your goal. On the seller side, There's an additional complication here because if you look at January of 2020, according to CoreLogic and their deputy chief economist again, Selma Hipp, just 7% of the homes through January 2020 had an appraisal gap. And this is the challenge that comes when homes are selling above the asking price. And you're setting new comparable sales data every time, going up and going up and going up every time a home sells. The data's got to be there in order to get the appraised value that comes from the mortgage company. So they fund the loan and they look at 3 similar sales. If you want to check out how appraisals work, give me a call and I'd be glad to explain in further detail. For now, we're focusing on what this means for sellers right now. So that was January 2020. Well, through May 2021, we're now at 19 of sales have an appraisal gap where it's sold for X, the appraisal came in below at Y, and there's some sort of gap to make up there. So what this means for sellers is that you've got to either negotiate that term up front, understand where you think the appraiser is going to come in, and have a trusted advisor that's going to help you navigate that process. Whether it's being willing to negotiate or come down knowing the buyers already pre-negotiated that they're going to make up a certain portion of that gap, or know how to appeal an appraisal or be aware of private data that may not be available to some of these appraisers. I've used that once. So the point is that just because very clearly the asking price is not enough anymore, you can see that from the data on the purchase side and what we're seeing with appraisal gaps on the sell side. I mean, you're seeing a 12% increase from January 2020 to May 2021, and that data always is a little lagged. You've got to have someone in your corner representing your interest who's been through this before and knows the options. So if you find yourself in this situation, or you're nervous about having to go above the asking price to get a home, understand there's a lot of positives that make this a really great time to buy, because your rate's gonna be a heck of a lot lower. So get some professional advice, talk to an agent who knows what they're talking about and has done business and has been through these situations, because they've happened in the past and they're going to happen in the future as well. It's about how you handle it as a consumer. That's going to dictate if you win in the transaction, or if you get the home, or if you get the home sold, which is the only result people are looking for. If you need anything or you want to talk more about this topic, you know where to reach me. Otherwise, we'll keep them coming, and see you next week. You're definitely going to watch this video. This is Tom Olsewski with Team Olsewski and Coldwell Banker signing out. Remember, it's important who you work with.